You Tufty?
You sure again? I know you. What now?
Start again now, all right? You're going to edit this, right? This bit's not going to be on YouTube, right?
I tracked down the lead singer of a band called Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
And I want to find out what happened to Chumbawamba, and I find out. Don't you worry about that.
Really? You?
I'm doing an interview. The interviewer gets a beer.
Have that one and we'll go get another one. We'll go get...
That's balls. I'm the famous one and I don't get a beer.
The Skyaaz podcast. Check out Skyaz's video. If you like Paul Weller, he's had about 30,000 views. He's got about 300 comments. It's just a success.
Welcome to the Skyaaz podcast. This is the look back at the year that's gone.
Stop it. Get some help.
So I can give you a bit of detail about why I did or why I set up my channel and what I did in that first year. Well, it's actually a bit longer than a year. I decided to do it, or do YouTube when COVID hit, and I just wanted to do something. I used to be a DJ on a local community station, and I interviewed a lot of artists. So what I did during lockdown is I converted those audios into videos, and I've actually got my phone, so I can tell you what the videos were. So yeah, if you go to my channel, the first video that's there is called About Skyaaz, so that's giving you a bit of background. It actually tells you about an illness that I had. I didn't really want to do it. I'm kind of glad I did. A lot of people appreciated the fact I was honest. Anyway, that's quite a personal video about why I set the channel up. I'm not going to repeat it all here, but the interviews I did were Grandmaster Melly Mel, Jean-Michel Jarre, Egyptian Lover, Vince Clarke, and Man Parrish. And as I said, they were all radio interviews that I converted. Now, I'll let you know a secret. I didn't edit them myself, the videos. I used a third party. He used an editor that I found on Fiverr, and I would send him my script, and I would send him my sort of cues and details of what scenes I wanted, and he would create it, send it back to me. I would then have to check it, send it back to him. It was a very, very drawn out process, very painful. But those first few videos were all done using that. And I thought to myself, I've got to learn how to do this stuff myself. So I did. And if you stick around, I'll tell you what software I use, and you'll be glad you got that. So when the channel went live, I had these interviews. I also made a documentary film about Evel Knievel.
Landing. Roll trouble.
22 years ago, called Butte Bound. So I put that on the channel. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the niche that I intended, but there you go. And then I did a catch up 21 years later with my brother, where we talked about the making of the documentary.
Evel Knievel, the old original ticket, May 26th.
Oh, so after winning a bit of money in Vegas,
Yeah.
I blew it all in an auction. I don't even know who I was bidding against. So when Lynn came over, she got a signed picture.
Yeah, where's that?
It's in the loft. So
Oh.
But the channel really starts properly with the homage to DJ Shadow gig. That was where I went down to Brighton with my camera and just filmed the gig. Now, I wanted to interview DJ Shadow. I contacted his management. I contacted his record company, his Facebook page. I got nothing back. So I thought, never mind, I'll go down anyway. So I went down there, and I was sitting in the park, and he walked past me, and I sort of jumped up and tapped him on the shoulder and said, you know, I'm Skyaaz, any chance of doing an interview? And no, not interested. So undeterred, I did it anyway. I filmed bits of the gig, and as luck would have it, there were bits in the gig where he was talking to the crowd.
So yeah, there I was, February 2020. Fresh tour, getting ready to kick off. 7 shows in, the shit all fell apart, right? Well, I can't even do this show back home, so the fact that I'm here, able to do it,
and I thought it's a bit like an interview, isn't it? So I used that, and I think it works really well. And I like it because it's the first video that I actually edited myself from my phone footage. Then I did an episode with Yellow. Now, this is really interesting because years ago, the Ministry of Sound put on a event called Yellow Sphere, sort of celebration of Yellow's career. And I went along and I filmed bits on my phone. Now I just took footage just as a fan. And when I started the channel, I thought I'd love to use that footage, but I'd lost the phone. As luck would have it, I found the phone and all the footage was still on it. So I edited that into like a homage to these Swiss musicians that I adore, Boris and Dieter. And I was playing around with editing the footage and cutting it. I'm really, really happy with it. Now, the weird thing is, both the Shadow and Yellow episodes have had really no views at all. But they're worth their weight in gold to me because it taught me how to edit. Well, I think you're always learning. It taught me how to use the software. As I said, when I first started the channel, the idea was, I think, to kind of promote. I used to be a scratch DJ in the 80s.
Funky fresh. Funky fresh. Funky fresh. Funky go.
And it was to kind of promote me doing more music stuff. So I released 2 tracks, one called Dystopia. And one called Summertime, I Think I Love You. Which is a collaboration with a guy called Babe Grand. And I don't think a career in music that doesn't really interest me. I'll tell you what though, I did a couple of years ago, I did have the idea of resurrecting my DJ career. Like I said, you can't see, but to my left I have a turntables, everything all set up. I thought, I can go out and play to the kids and do some scratching.
Are you stupid or something?
No, they didn't love it. They hated it. So I had to turn up there with my vinyl, old granddad turning up with his 1200s and his 1210s and his vinyl collection. It was diabolical. And I think I got paid 150 quid to do it. And it was just soul destroying. I had these teenage girls coming up saying, "Have you got any Adele? Have you got any Rihanna?" And I was like, "I should think so." It was just awful, and it made me realise that I hated dealing with people.
Seriously, what the f are you doing?
I hated being front facing. I can cope with speaking to you now, via the power of the interweb.
Give your meat a good old rub.
But yeah, in a club setting, it was not great. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, so I did 2 tracks. But I've, during the year or so that I've set the channel up, you try things. So I did an episode looking at Kate Bush and why she had so much success with running up that hill. It just, it bombed. It didn't do well at all. I did an episode looking at a review of the film Scream. No one cared. Then I've done, when I was a kid, I was really interested in punk. So I used to like Crass, the whole Crass label. And Steve Ignorant, the lead singer, is still performing. So I was very fortunate to interview him.
When Crash finished, I thought, right, that's it, I'm not going to do music anymore. No, yes, I will. I'll do what everyone does, an acoustic album, just on my own. Because I had the Beatles songbook and I could do open chords. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'll, that. And what should I do? Yeah, I'm reading, and I've been reading a book called Jack the Ripper, The Final Solution. All about the Freemasons and all this conspiracy stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'll do an album about that. Someone showed me a film called This Is Spinal Tap, right? Because otherwise I would have been that muppet, sausage ackies and naughty one. I was like, fucking hell.
He's a naughty man, sausage ackie.
And that was a really, really nice episode for the channel. And then when I was interviewing him, I met Dunstan from Chumbawamba and got chatting to him and did the Chumbawamba episode. And they're both those episodes are what I call long form content. And people were saying to me, don't do long form content on YouTube. Don't do it. Stick to a 5 to 10 minute segment because people don't have time. And I thought, well, that's bollocks, because when I used to watch YouTube, and what got me interested in doing it, I used to watch Joe Rogan and all these. They weren't 5-10 minute clips. They were hour, 2 hour long things. And that's the people that I want, that I hope my audience are, the people that have an attention span that's longer than 2 minutes. So I do longer form content if I can. And that's why the interview with Steve and the interview with Chumbawamba, and also Subhumans, another band that were fantastic in the 80s, and I was very proud to meet and interview. So I've done, I try this and it didn't work, and then I'll try this and that didn't work, and then I'll try that, it worked, and I'll try it again, it didn't work. What I mean by that is I did an episode about buying records, and I'd go to a record shop and interview the guy.
There's thousands and thousands of records here, even some on the ceiling.
This was a hard choice, this one. We got the hair. The hairdryer rock of Europe.
And it would get thousands of views, and then I'd go and I'd do another episode at a record fair and it would get 300 views. And it's just like, I didn't understand why. It was very weird. But you've just got to carry on. I was realizing what content I was making that I enjoyed making, and I wanted to carry on doing that. But what happened this summer, I went to I had a concert with Adamant, and I filmed a bit of that and popped it up on YouTube. That's had nearly 4,500 views.
It was absolutely amazing. I flew here from the United States and it was worth everything.
As I said, all recorded on a phone, and I think it looks great. This summer I went on holiday to the South Coast, to Brighton, and while I was down there was a Paul Weller exhibition. There was also a Nick Hayward concert, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to film some of the Paul Weller exhibition. So I did, and I interviewed some of the people behind it. I interviewed well, I think I interviewed three of the staff that were there, and then I went round Brighton filming the shops. There's lots of mod shops, but there's 3 that I've featured in an episode. And then I filmed a concert with Nick Hayward, and this was all in a week's holiday. And they all did very, very well. The mod episode did really well. The Paul Weller episode did well, and the Nick Hayward one did okay as well. And I was contacted, I think, about a week later by Nikki Weller, who wanted me to come back and do like a final day film of the event, and also get a chance to interview her. So I went back to the event and did like the last day.
I'm here with Nikki. How are you, Nikki?
Hello.
What made you want to do another jam?
I don't know, must have been mental. I was actually approached in about 2019. We were going to actually do it on the old Lido grounds of the on the beach. By the time we then decided 2021 and then 22, when I did finally turn up, I'd kind of had so long to think about it. I decided it was a Jam and Style Council exhibition,
which is nice. It's like a reminder of the very last day of that exhibition. And I also featured one of the live bands, Derek, who wrote a book, and of course I met Steve Tufty Carver. Now Steve Tufty Carver is one of Paul's friends. He was one of his neighbours, and he told me about a tour that he did. Now we move on a few months, and in November, on the 18th of November to be exact, was the day after my birthday. I was meant to be going to do some filming, and it was cancelled, and I contacted Steve and said, look, Steve, you doing anything today? And he's like, no. And I said, do you fancy, recording some of your Woking tour? And he said, yeah, okay. So I met him at his local cafe, and we drove around Woking, and we just filmed the bits, and it was just all, just good fun. Came home, edited it, and I think it took about a week to edit. And what's really nice when you're editing, because you can be judge and jury, for example, when we did the tour, the first thing we went to was the club, and then we went off and did other bits and pieces. Now, when you come to edit, I realised that the club probably should be towards the end, and also we saw the I call it the Woking disgrace. We saw that first, but in my film, that's the last bit. Anyway, but yeah, I love the fact you can take all these little scenes and then just put them in a nice order and just create it's kind of like a little film, little Netflix film. And people really liked it. Anyway, people seem to like it. So I finished it in about a week. I was really happy with it. I mean, you never know how good something is. I mean, you do something, you think everything you've done is brilliant, but you never really know. But yeah, it went live. I sent it to Steve. It was the day of the World Cup England match, I think, and he said he put it on his Facebook page. Said, I haven't seen this yet, but hopefully it's all right. And within a day, it had nearly 1,000 views. And I rang him up. I said, that's pretty good. Now, just to let you know, for a little channel like mine, and it is a tiny little channel, and it's a very niche thing, I'm lucky to get 100 views in 24 hours. If I get over 100, that's, in my opinion, that's a really successful video. To get 1,000 in a day was amazing, but to get 10,000 in under a week.
So Tufty, the video has hit 10,000 views in a week. What do you think?
Absolutely gobsmacked, speechless, honoured, flattered and amazed. Because it's It's a nice touch.
Oh, what's that? Chair. What's the chair?
Yeah, I'm afraid this is welcome to Woking. In my wildest dreams, 1,000 views would have been brilliant. 10,000 is absolutely mind-boggling.
For that particular video was absolutely unbelievable.
Like, it's been in my bag and gone from 59 to 200 watts. And I wish I could be like David Watts. Hey, hey, hey. Wish I could be like Dave. That's Skyaaz who's got me singing that.
And I kind of realised that I tapped into, I tapped it into the way of making the way of me making the films, the content I was creating, and everything. It just all came together. The early videos as well, but that one in particular just hit the mark. And it's really nice because it allows you to, well, plan your channel. When I planned the channel originally, you know, I had no idea that by the end of it I would be talking about youth subculture from the 70s and 80s that I grew up with. I thought it was going to be focused on electronic music only, and I'm still a big fan of electronic music, but the channel now is focusing on this whole youth subculture. So obviously there's going to be some sort of crash type stuff, but also mod stuff and scooters. That's my little scooter at the moment. Now I've been tying with the idea of actually doing there's quite a few scooter clubs around where I live, maybe featuring them, and maybe do me getting a scooter and going out and stuff. I don't know, I just think it's anything that's interesting to me, I will do and create, but that's it. So that's where we are now. We're now January 2023. What have you got coming up? Well, I've got 4 videos planned, which I think you'll like. If you like the last 6 months worth of stuff, you'll definitely like what I'm doing. So my message to you is, if you are a YouTuber, if you get someone else to edit it, try and edit it yourself. That's my advice. If you need software, then you can use the software that I use, which is called ACE MOVI. I'll put a link in the description. It's an affiliate link, so I do get if you do it, but if you don't, I mean, it's cheap anyway. It's cheap as chips, and it's really powerful. And to let you know, I used loads of different software, and I couldn't get my head around any of them. All right, I'm not technical at all, but ACE MOVI I can use. A phone I can use, and look, all you're doing is you're creating a story. Yeah, so you want to create a story, you want to create content, and you want to make it as easy for you to get your message across, and ACE MOVI allows me to do that, as does my little phone. One thing I will say though, as a result of the success of the channel, I'm now going to be investing in a proper camera. And oh yeah, another thing, January the 1st 2023, I became a YouTube partner, so I got 1,000 subs, and so that's really good. So everyone that's subscribed, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, smash that bell, share the channel with your friends, and look to see what I do in the future. I'm very excited. Hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year, and I wish you all the best for 23, and take care of yourselves.